Well, good morning. We'll proceed with our program. I appreciate everyone having the opportunity to network, and especially to personally welcome our guests, Ernesto and Silva, to our campus today. And I welcome each of you. We have several from the community, and I appreciate you taking time this morning to join us here at Lipscomb University. Our intent today is, one, we're going to work Ernesto hard. He is going to share his story with our students on several occasions, and then we'll culminate with a lunch with our faculty. But we wanted to have a session here to invite those who I think would be inspired by his message. And our intent was to have sort of a small, intimate setting. But people kept asking, could they come? And so you're welcome. So it is a large square instead of a small square. But as Ernesto and I have talked, he will present here in a few minutes, but he really would encourage your questions, and we can still have a conversation. Our intent here in this hero business is to honor successful business leaders who also have lived out their faith. In fact, Ernesto asked me last night, he said, now why did you invite me? I'm from a large company in Mexico. Why did you invite me? And I said, why not? But what I haven't, maybe I should explain to all of you, is we've used Psalm 78, 72 sort of as our criteria. And I know we're sort of maybe misappropriating scripture here, but the whole idea when the psalm refers to King David leading Israelites, and it talks about how he shepherded them with integrity of the heart and led with skill of the hand. And I think that's a perfect description of what a hero business should be. An inspiration, obviously, to our business students, but successful with the skill of the hand, as Ernesto has well proven, now he'll also remind you he has just retired, and then he immediately starts talking about his grandchildren, but is retired as the CEO of Coca-Cola Mexico. And if you hear his story, an incredible journey throughout Latin America, when you think about it, the largest bottler in the world. But when you look at skill of the hand, and then the shepherd of integrity of the heart, I'm not so sure you're going to find another senior business leader who loves God and is so passionate about his faith. Him and Sylvia, as they both serve as ministers, and also incredible faith journey. And so Ernesto, that's why we've asked you here. Yeah, this will be an inspiration to our students. Because also as a college of business, we try to live out Psalm 78, 72. We're a university, we're a college of business, and that means we have to add value. We have to be credible, we have to be relevant, we have to be a good business school, the skill of the hand. Our students need to be prepared for the workforce. And I think you see that. You'll see that through our very high placement rates. You'll see that from the success of several of our alumni who are in this room. You'll see that if you want to use rankings as a measure. And where you now have a college of business that is nationally ranked on many fronts. I think we're especially proud that Bloomberg Business Week, where our undergrad is the #1 in Tennessee, and our part-time MBA is the #2 in Tennessee. Marketing, HR, all in the top 50. Our recent award we're very proud of is our accounting program was rated the #2 accounting Christian program in the nation. And that has a nice ring to it, a Christian accounting program. And so also we try to live out the skill of the hand and then integrity of the heart, as our mission is to develop business leaders who embrace the values and virtues of Jesus. And so they can have those virtues that you as employers desire and can go out and then do well and do good. And so I think this culminates, and I think as we continue as a community to work together to influence this community through good. At this time, I'd like to ask Eddie Mieres to join us and lead us in the invocation. And then I'll ask our president to give a welcome. Now, Eddie, I want to say we are his best customer right now. Eddie is from the local Coca-Cola. He's been with them, I think, over 20 years. Has his MBA from Nova Southeastern, and I think a bachelor's from Charlotte, UNC. And so, Eddie, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Obviously, being on the campus is all about timing, and so us being able to switch you guys over, and Laffy was last week, and being able to attend here was perfect timing for us. So we really do appreciate the partnership. Well, join me in prayer, please. Lord, thank you for this wonderful day, beautiful day to come together in fellowship, and also to honor Ernesto for be able to spend great quality time learning about his life, learning about the impact you made in his life, and be able to impact those young adults that we have on this campus. We also ask you, Lord, to continue to look after all those impacted by the hurricanes, and especially for those impacted by the earthquake in Mexico City. We also ask you to make this food nourishment to our body. Forgive us for our sins. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
And right now, it's my pleasure to introduce our president, Randy Lowry. And of course, we welcome him and appreciate you being part of one of our guests.
Well, good morning to all of you. I just wanted to come by and thank you for all you do as a College of Business. Ray has been a tremendous leader in terms of the decanal role, and you faculty have been right there with him, and you're building a great College of Business. That's noticed, and events like this underscore that. It has been a period of time that presidents across the country are recognizing it's difficult to make a right decision at all. I've been watching all the free speech stuff go on in other campuses, and it just seems like whatever way a president goes, there's a huge constituency would say, that's not the way to go. And I would say that's true on almost every issue except the issue of soft drinks on this campus. And on that particular issue, a decision was made a few weeks ago, and this partnership started, and I've not had a single complaint yet. So, in my life, I appreciate you for an entirely different reason, but thank you for bringing this product and happiness to our campus. I just think it's wonderful that Coke is no longer illegal, because I know you've been drinking it. People all over the campus have been drinking it. It's just hidden like bourbon somewhere under the desk, and only comes out in appropriate times. And now we can be more transparent with it. So, Mr. Silva, we're thrilled that you are here, and we know that in a time where values are a bit confused and there's not agreement on culture and morality and how to do things like business, it is really important to have people here who say, no, here's the North Star, here's a way to do that, here's how you bring success and integrity together. And so your visit here is extraordinarily significant, will be remembered by students as they go into their careers. So thank you for coming. Thank you all for being such a wonderful college.
Thank you very much, President Lowry. Please enjoy your meal and conversation, and then just in a few moments, Professor of Finance, Julio Revez, will introduce our guest.
Read a part of his resume. Mr. Silva is an experienced professional with proven success in areas such as business management, turnarounds, business development, mergers and acquisitions, strategic planning, sales, international trade, industrial engineering, and IT. Mr. Ernesto worked in FEMSA for over 44 years. He was in charge of the largest division of Coca-Cola FEMSA before he decided to retire last December. that the Mexico division sold for that year 1.85 billion unit cases with revenues of $4.1 billion. He led a team of 44,000 employees. He led the company to reach the all-time record in terms of volume, income, profits, and market share in Mexico, both as a soft drinks company and as a total beverage company. Prior to his assignments in Mexico, he was in charge of Coca-Cola FEMSA Mercosur in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Buenos Aires, Argentina. He also served in several businesses of the FEMSA group. Mr. Silva also sat in boards of administrative and consultative for several businesses in Argentina, Brazil, and Mexico. Ernesto has a multicultural track record. He was born in Monterrey, Mexico, and he lived 2 years in Austin, Texas, over 12 years in Mexico City, 6 years in Sao Paulo, Brazil, 3 years in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He is a mechanical engineer, graduated from UANL in Mexico. He holds an MBA from University of Texas at Austin. He has postgrad diplomas from Harvard University, the Thunderbird School of Global Management, and IPADE in Mexico. He is married with Silvia de la Garza and has 4 children, 1 grandson and 1 granddaughter. He enjoys jogging, golfing, teaching, lecturing, reading, and writing, and speaks fluent Spanish, English, and Portuguese. In his walk of faith, they both became Christians in the early 80s. They began to participate in Bible studies, prayer groups, and visiting people in the hospital. By 1985, their pastor of the church decided to grow and plant 4 new small churches in different areas of the city. That pastor left, and after looking for a replacement for several months, Ernesto was invited to become a pastor. The deal was thought to be for 2 or 3 months, but then he ended up being a pastor for 7 years. So at that time, he was also general director of a closures company and a chemical business with sales of more than $100 million. Ernesto and Silvia kept working for the church when they moved to Mexico City in 1996 and Buenos Aires, Argentina. And after 6 years in Brazil, they moved back to Mexico City, and they continue serving at Centro de Vida Lomas Church, mainly teaching, preaching, and in financial matters. So this is Ernesto Silva now.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. And especially thanks to President Lowry, and that he had the attention of being here, even though he has to be in another meeting outside the campus. Dean Ray Eldridge, thank you very much. And for all your attentions, and Beth, that he has taken care of many details. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time and to be here and to listen to our testimony that we expect and look forward to be of inspiration and to encourage you maybe to do some things that you have not done yet. Well, our testimony is, I would say, it's like a salad. We have different ingredients in that salad. And first of all, I would like to thank my wife Sylvia, that has been the, not 50%, but we share 100% of each of us in this adventure. And since we got married in August in 1976, and some weeks later I received a letter from the admissions office of UT Austin to saying that I was submitted to the master's degree program, and she didn't know it. And she said, "Why you didn't tell me?" Well, because I was not sure that I was going to be admitted. And but since then, we have been in an adventure, enjoying and crests and hills. But we are here after 40 years of marriage with the same one. And well, as you heard, well, I was sharing with David and Ray and President Lori that we have had a tremendous experience with the Lord, thanks to the testimony of American missionaries in Mexico. And this is something that sometimes we overpass and don't think about it, and the transcendency of what missionaries, American missionaries, are doing and have done in Mexico. And I can guarantee that several millions of Mexicans have heard the gospel and have received Jesus because of American missionaries working there. So keep on, because we need to conquer Mexico and even the United States, and to get back to the principles and values of the Christian faith. And I was saying minutes ago that we are like water molecules, and we can be a liquid and a solid or gas, but we still have the same essence, and we need to have that Christian essence wherever we are. If we are at work, if we are at home, if we are at the community, or making business, we have to be the same. I was also saying that in Mexico, well, there is a reality. There is a lot of, it's like a part of the landscape, bribes and doing businesses without paying taxes. So to overcome all these practices, you have to test, and until you test that it works, well, you continue doing the same. And I remember that sometimes I received a message and said, "Ernesto, there is an inspector at one of our plants that says that he's going to shut down our plant, and or if we can lubricate the system, he will let us continue working." And I said, "Okay, I want to talk to him or ask him if he has proofs that we are not complying, because if he has the proofs, we will shut down ourselves the plant. But if he doesn't have the proofs, we are going to go all the way up and accuse him for trying to do us to do something wrong, and we will not give a bribe, we will not comply with something wrong. So tell him that, and that if he wants to talk to me, I'm available. And the answer was, well, it is not that big issue. We can solve it, and there is no problem, and you can continue working. So you have to test, and you have to have that faith that the Lord is backing you up, and so you have to be sure and certain that you are there because the Lord is backing you up, and that you have to experience, and 1 and 2 and 3 times, and then you see that it's part of your daily life, and because you are relying on God, and those principles and values are and need to be permeated through the organization, and it has to be top down, because people that are accustomed to bribes and everything, well, they do what they know how to do it, and when the number one tells all the organization that you are not, or you will not do bribes and do wrong things, they say, well, it must be serious. And if you say, well, if you do not comply with these principles and values, unfortunately, we don't need you. And so, when we had 1 or 2 cases where they performed wrong, and so they got fired, and the rest of the people said, well, this is something serious. So you have to be aligned with what you believe, and especially when you communicate those principles and values. We thanks God, in our group, it is a group of 20-something billion dollars a year in revenues, and our former president and our current president, they are so stick to principles and values, and they said, and we implemented, or we communicated what we call the culture of legality. And if it is something wrong that you are required to do, we better say, I do not agree with that, and we will have the backup of our top management and the whole group. And those are the examples of how we have to deal with principles and values that are aligned. And I said there are no difference between Christian values and universal values. We have to be aligned with our Christian principles, that if you compare what people say these are universal values, they are based on Christian values. Probably they have another fancy names or whatever, but they are all the same. And also, we have had different experiences through our 45 years journey. I would like to use some of the pictures that I have in this PowerPoint presentation. And so I believe in a picture tells more than 1,000 words. So I'm going to go through these pictures and then open up this to a conversation and two-way traffic conversation. Okay, so I'm 64 years old, and I was born in Monterrey, Mexico. It's about 150 miles south of Laredo, Texas. And we have been out of Mexico in the United States, in Argentina, and also in Brazil, and also in Mexico City. And why Mexico City? Well, I underline Mexico City because Monterrey, it's a province city, and Mexico City, it's like another country. It's 24 million in population, and customs are quite different from Monterrey. And we have been there and working with 45,000 people. It's a great responsibility because you need to give results to the business, but also you need to teach people and to inspire them, because it's my belief, and I have been in this business quite a while, that if persons are glad and they love what they do, and you get different results. And I remember, for example, in Brazil, where we were working there, and it was unbelievable. Coke franchise in São Paulo, Brazil, losing money. It was not believable, and we bought that franchise, and well, the Coca-Cola company said, okay, we are going to give you the opportunity and try to make a turnover of this franchise, but it is so hard, and we have several years in red numbers, that we don't believe that FEMSA can do a turnover. And well, the very same year that we arrived, we made a turnover of that franchise, and it was a lot of the answer and solution was just motivation of the people. They didn't believe, they had lost their confidence and trust. So we talked to them, and we encouraged them, and we gave them a list and examples of different weapons that we have, and to go and conquer the market, and how to fight our competition. And well, in less than 1 year, the results and the profitability and share market just went up. But there was a lot of prayer backing up all these results. And so that's where the essence of the water molecule I was telling about. You have to believe that prayer and wisdom and hearing the Lord it are aligned with the results you are expecting. I remember in another company I was before Coke and inside the FEMSA group that we had a tremendous discussion with the labor union, and we wanted to change the way we worked because it was an old company, 70 years old in the market, and we needed to renew not only technology but the way we think or we used to work in that company. And the labor union, they said, no, we are accustomed to do this way and we're going to continue, we will not change. So I said, well, you have two choices. It's one, going this way and your way, and probably in 2 years we're gonna shut down the company. Or I propose that you be aligned to this new way of working. And I said, probably we will be less employees, but we will have operations for probably 20 years ahead of us. And but we need to change our mindset. And I gave them an example and said, do you remember, maybe most of you, well, some of you, because do you remember the beta and the VHS cassettes? Well, I told them why the beta and cassettes are disappearing, and all the new pictures, the new movies are going to the VHS. Well, because it's a better technology and better quality, and but they needed to a renewal, and that's why we need also to do the same, and we need to renew or disappear. And I asked them, do you know why the dinosaurs are not still anymore with us? Why they disappeared? And they say, no, we don't know. And we were not there. I said, well, they disappeared because they couldn't cope with the change. And that's a law. We need to comply and to renew ourselves every day, because if you do not do that, other one will do it, and you will lose competitiveness. So we were tied in a very hard fight, and I went to my restroom in my office, and I was praying there and said, Lord, I cannot continue with this fight. I leave it to you, and I'm quitting. So I remember that I got home and I went to bed and repeat the same question, Lord, why? Okay, you know why? And then you will give me the answer. And 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard a voice, take a paper and a pencil and write. And so he gave me 5 steps that I immediately put it into action at 8 o'clock in the morning with the labor union, and the problem was solved. The business was transformed, and part of the answer was fairness. We were going to be all the employees will have the same opportunity, the same chance, but they have to comply with some requisites. And they accepted, and well, we began to gain market share from 23% to 40%, and we began exporting from Canada, US, to Central America, and even to Chile, and well, we became, being a 70-year-old company, we became a world benchmark in our products. So, being a Christian in a business environment has a plus, because it's not you, it's you with the Lord, and how it's amazing. I have many histories or anecdotes that where you clearly see the hand of God backing you up, or giving you the answer, or telling you, don't go that way. So this is an example of how we treated our people. It's me with different areas where we enjoy our work. It's not only work, but we enjoy doing what we do. We also have to combine hobbies and work, and sometimes I was telling Sylvia that I used to travel probably 40% of my time, and she was taking care of the children, and that's why this partnership is so important. But enjoying the trips and enjoying the spare time is very important to keep this flame alive in our marriage. So, and Sylvia has been an anchor for me because of her faith. I can tell you that I was very illiterate in the spiritual things when we got married, and she began teaching me, and when I was 25, 28 years old, and basic things about God that I didn't know. I was a very religious man, but just that. And then I understood that you should not be religious, you should be spiritual. and well, I thank her because of her testimony. And she also preaches. She's an excellent teacher, and I thank God because of this partnership that He sealed with His will. And we also have a beautiful family with four children and two grandchildren. You can see them there, and those are the gifts and the benefits of being grandfather. And well, we also had the opportunity to deal with different people that are very influential. You can see at the bottom there, it's Carlos Slim. He's the richest man on earth. And so we had and Mutter Kent, that just retired as the president and chairman of Coca-Cola Company. And up there we have the left top, the owner, a former owner, because he's dead right now, and of FEMSA, and the relationship with presidents. This is a current president of Mexico, and President Lula from Brazil, and De la Rua from Argentina, and some other presidents that we had influence. And with some of them, I had the opportunity to give in hand a prayer, an envelope saying, please do this prayer. And time after, I asked them if they made the prayer, and said, yes, I did. Unfortunately, we cannot follow up daily, but having the opportunity for them to make the prayer to receive Jesus and to ask for forgiveness and to ask for wisdom, the seed is planted and it will give fruit one day or the other, but we have confirmed that it helps. You have here the person that we Sylvia and I are together at the bottom left. He was in his 95 anniversary. He is an American missionary and the senior pastor for our church. He has 66 years working in Mexico and sharing the gospel. And well, combining the business area and the family area, Sylvia and I also share not only for those 7 years that we were pastors in Mexico, and then we had to move to Argentina, but it is possible that to combine and to use that water molecule example, and you have to, and you need to share while there is time the good news of the gospel. And we also have time to be with our family. This is Sylvia's family, and this is my family. And to end up with this session, we also want to ask for your prayers because of what happened in Mexico. And we know that there have been devastations because of hurricanes in the States and in Mexico and in other countries. So we ask for your prayers. People is very open. You can see even soldiers are receiving Jesus, and because of the squads that we have sent as a church to share the gospel with all the people that were affected, impacted by the earthquakes. Now a volcano is beginning to erupt in Mexico, and we need your prayers. So I don't want to take more time in order to open up this discussion into questions and answers, hopefully answers. Okay, so thank you very much for your time.
I have a question. It sounds like you are very bold in your faith, which is always great for us to hear. How did you, as a leader of an organization, impart that without, or maybe you weren't worried about the pressure, but it can be tricky sometimes if you are working with people who aren't believers. You want them to hear the good news, but I was just curious how you approach that with people who work, how direct you were, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, I have learned that there is a process. When people know you better, they confirm that you are sincere and consistent, they believe in you. I remember at the beginning that I began a prayer group with my direct reports, and a person in the organization came to me and said, Ernesto, you cannot do this here. And so I had to quit. But after that, that person had a problem with his oldest son. He had a cancer, and he asked me to pray for him. And when you identify that a person has a need, it's a special moment for that person, and he knows that you are genuine and that you are doing something for real for him, and it gives you a moral authority, and they will look for you when they are in need, and you don't need to look for them. So in all these years, I was impressed with testimony that my boss and my former boss told when it was in a dinner for my retirement, and he said, Ernesto, you don't know how many persons and lives and families you have touched, and during all these years, and then after the dinner, some persons came to me and said, I was one of those. And and others said, "You remember that? I was another person." And you, sometimes you don't even know that you are touching that person or God is touching, but it's just a normal life. And that's why I use another, once again, the water molecule example. You have to keep and to maintain your essence. You're welcome. Yes?
Ernesto, would you share with this group the work that you're doing with Coca-Cola Consolidated and Tea Factor and how that fits into what you've discussed today?
Yes, I'm very happy to work with a project that it is named Tea Factor. Tea because of the cross, and it is led by Frank Harrison III from Coca-Cola Consolidated, and where his mindset is, well, we used to share the gospel with people on the streets, but right now in the modern times we have a lot of work spaces where we can share the gospel at work, and because we are 8, 10, 12 hours a day behind a desk, and he designed a program where you can share prayer groups, Bible studies, and volunteerism, and some other ways of sharing the faith. And so I'm helping and trying to export that model to Mexico and Argentina and other countries, and we are in the process of designing a new business model, but it is a model to share the gospel and to increase even productivity, efficiency, profitability, but family, employees win, and business also wins, and it is a closed loop that everyone is benefited with this model. Yes.
Very good, and we'll have a few minutes afterwards before we have to move on. If you'd like to hang around and talk more to Ernesto and Sylvia. But right now, if I could, I'd come in front of the podium. I gotta make you official hero. It's not official yet. We've got, I had to follow the instructions of the photographer here. Because we want to make this official.
Oh, thank you.
Then I will take it back so I can give it to you again. In front of our students. But,
Oh,
Well, this is the Mexican hug. It's first a shake, and then 3, and then a second shake. It's heart to heart. The hug is heart to heart.
That's wonderful.
he taught me that, and then he also said, before the next time he comes back, I have to learn Spanish. And I said, well, I'm too old for that. And then he explained how he went to Brazil and learned Portuguese. And then he says, I'll tell you the secret. You need to learn Spanish, because you know what language they speak in heaven. So I guess now I'm motivated.
There you go.
Well, we could conclude, I could conclude in prayer.
Yes.
We can.
Yes.
Great Heavenly Father, thank you so much already for a wonderful, beautiful day. We've already been so blessed with life, the sun, the food, and especially our new friend, Ernesto and Sylvia. And we thank you so much for their life, their influence. We thank you for bringing them here. And we know they'll be very powerful. We pray that they touch each of our lives and our students' lives. We especially ask your power to all those who are hurting now. The earthquakes in Mexico, throughout Latin America, hurricanes, the Caribbean, Florida, Texas. There's just so many tragedies right now. And I know people are overwhelmed, but help us to pray, help us to be your hands and feet, and that throughout all this, that people will see that you are all powerful and that you are still in charge. We pray in your son's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. So, take it.
I'll take it. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.